Hi everybody, welcome to Tuesday's prenatal yoga. I hope this finds you well. I hope this video finds you, to be honest, because today has been a flurry of technical issues ranging from Facebook to WhatsApp to everything technical having an issue. So I so hope this video has found you and that you are ready to do some yoga with me. My name is Emma Heald and I'll be here with you for the next 30 minutes with fit mums and friends. It's designed for prenatal bodies. However, please feel free to invite your kids along. If you've got other children there, maybe your partner or someone that you are at home with right now. Please make sure that you feel well enough to do some exercise as well. It will be relatively gentle. However, what is gentle? It depends on how our bodies and also right now how our nervous systems are feeling. I know the other day I did some very gentle yoga and that was more than enough because my nerves were a little bit up. So please make sure you do what feels right. This session is recorded and you'll be able to watch it again if you wish. And if you know someone who has had a baby, they can watch it, or is having a baby, sorry, they can watch it, and who has had a baby, postnatal will be tomorrow. You're welcome to post in the comments section and I really appreciate any feedback afterwards as well. So we're actually going to do some work lying today, lying down on the floor. This is suitable for all trimesters, however, obviously, depending on how you feel. We're going to be on our sides, so third trimester if you're very close to the end of your pregnancy, you might want to pop a cushion underneath your bump, and you can always watch it and see if it feels appropriate for you. I'll do the exercises with you, so you've got a visual as well, but if you can't see the screen for any reason, I'll talk you through them as well. Okay. So welcome and thank you for being here. I see a few people are, which is great. Okay, so just make sure that you've got somewhere comfy. So I've actually put a blanket down on my mat today, so it's nice and comfy. I've got my cardigan if I want to put that on, and I've got my cushion, a cushion here as well. I've also got my cozy socks on. I'm going to take those off just so that you can see my feet if need be, but if you've got cozy socks on as well, keep them on. You don't need any special yoga gear for this. If you're in your onesie and your pyjamas, then absolutely, you are absolutely fine with that. So in a moment we're going to lie down. I'm going to use a cushion maybe under my head, but it's a bit just like making sure that you feel set up. We're going to be working the legs as well, okay? So I'm going to start on my left side just because I'm facing you, and then I'll turn around and do the other side. So feel free to join me. I'm going to lie down. I'm going to make a little pillow with my hand and my arm. Knees are bent. And I'm just going to stretch the side body a little bit, and then you can bring your hand for the first couple of breaths, the first few rounds of breath onto your belly if you wish. Oh, that feels nice. Sometimes this is all the yoga we need. You can close the eyes very gently if you wish. And as I said, if you want to, you can put a cushion or a blanket underneath your bump if that helps it feel a little bit more contained. One hand resting on towards your baby bump and just taking those very precious breaths here. So when we started these yoga classes about 2 months ago now, believe it or not, one of the very first themes I talked about in a class or intentions or invitations was to acknowledge the wonder of you. And we're going to return to that today. 8 weeks on, you may have had your baby already, or maybe moving into second or third trimester. You bring your hand onto your belly, just taking a moment. You can always bring it onto the heart as well to acknowledge the wonder of you. Now we're going to move a little bit here, but if you've laid down and you're like, God, this feels good, stay here. You don't have to move today. Probably move on to the other side in a moment, otherwise just resting here. You can flip between the two. Okay, just taking a moment there. And then we're going to lift this top knee and we're going to do hip circles. So I'm just going to draw this knee in. I'm going to stabilise myself with this front hand. Draw this knee in, up and round into a circle. As I move, this underneath leg is pressing into the floor. So I draw this knee up and round into a circle. Okay, we're going to repeat that about 5 times. The knee comes in, up, round, and then squeezing these together. Now you might even be able to see my bottom knee lifts away from the floor. I'm going to press that down. Lift that other knee up, around and into a circle. You guys carry on there. Do about 3 more. I'm just going to make sure this screen is clear, so bear with me. Okay, great. I do apologise, some messages might pop up, so I'll just close them if they do. Okay, so I'm going to prop my head up so I can see you, but you can stay lying down. And taking 1 more after this. Remember, this underneath leg is pressing into the floor, and it's a relatively gentle, but it might feel like quite a strong circle. And then bring those knees back together. Good, excellent. Switch this cushion around a bit. Okay, keeping the underneath leg pressing down as if someone's got their hand and gently pressing that leg down. We're going to open the knees. Now don't worry about how straight the leg goes. I'm going to press the foot up towards the sky. I'm flexing my foot, but you can have it quite relaxed. Bend at the knee and squeeze those knees together. Okay, let's keep moving there. I'm supporting myself with this hand, opening the knees, pressing the foot up. You can always give the ankle a little rotation. Bend the knee and close the knees. Ooh, my hip's on fire. Okay, let's do a few more. Open. Remember, press that underneath knee down. Press it, press it. Press the foot up. There's a lot of pressing. Bend and squeeze the knees. 2 more. Open. It's slow, purposely, so you can press. Heel towards the sky. Leg doesn't have to straighten. Knee bends. Close. Okay, so this is our last one here. Knee opens. Press the foot up. Maybe you can stretch it a little bit more. And then bend the knee and close the knees. Okay, now if that leg, that top part of the leg is a little achy, I sometimes take my fist, give it a mini massage. Just a mini kind of pummeling around there. Okay, and then we're going to work into the 3rd component of this little sequence. So unless this feels uncomfortable, this is okay for all trimesters, but again, only if it feels comfortable. I'm going to keep my knees like that. They don't have to be together, they can be separate. Okay, then I'm going to wriggle onto my back a little bit. So I'm going to kind of get the shoulder blades onto the back, and my knees are quite relaxed. Stretch the arms out for a moment, might feel quite nice there. And then I'm going to take the arm that's furthest away, bring it up and over so that the hands almost meet. Draw those fingertips along the chest, roll onto the back, maybe look to that stretched arm, and then we come back. All the way up and over, drawing the fingertips along the chest. You come into a gentle twist, the arm unfurls, and we do 3 more. Up and over. Fingertips along, so it's little movement in towards the spine, but opening through the chest. You can have a cushion or a blanket in between the thighs as well, in between the knees. That can feel a little bit more supportive. Opening up. Let's make this our last one. Rolling the fingertips along and then stretching out. Just take 2 rounds of breath here. Remember, You can put a cushion in between the knees. Couple of breaths. As long as this feels okay for the pregnancy. If it's too much, just come back on towards your side. Good. And then all you need to do is change sides. So you can come onto your back and move on to the other side. I'm just going to turn around so I'm still looking at the camera and you can still hear my voice. So just make sure you come onto the other side. And again, we take a moment there. So we take a couple of moments just lying on the other side. Remember, you can have a cushion underneath the belly. Legs quite relaxed. You can have your hand on towards your belly and take a few breaths there. So we rest on both sides between working these movements. Maybe again acknowledging the wonder of you as you've got your hand on towards your baby. The wonder of you that's given yourself a few moments rest and a few moments movement. Okay, we're going to work into these hip circles again. So, excuse me, key action here is this leg that's on the floor has to press down, And then we bring the knee up. I'm supporting myself with my fingertips, open through the hip, press my underneath knee down, and then roll those knees together. A little bit of plunking in towards the hip joint there. Hopefully your hip joint is as clunky as mine. Knee opens and rolling that down. And interestingly, you may have a similar experience or not. One side, the first side I did felt really great actually, and this side feels like it's a different body. So just checking into that, just being kind with both sides of the body, pressing that underneath hip down. And I'm going really slowly today. You can go a little quicker if you want, but not if it avoids the sensation. We'll take about 3 more here. Every time you exhale, think of a little hug of the baby bump in towards you. Quite heavy on towards the side of the body. We've got 1 more after this. So we draw the knee, and I'm bringing the knee up and round. You can obviously take it in the opposite direction. And then closing those knees together. I don't know if that will ever get easy, to be honest. Okay, pressing again down what's on the floor. We're going to work into those hamstrings and into the inner part of the leg. So underneath leg presses, opening the knee and pressing the foot up. And I did a similar sequence this morning in the 8 a.m. class, but we did it on our backs. So you can do a similar sequence on your back. This is modified for pregnancy. Opening the knee and taking the foot up, because for sometimes it feels uncomfortable, right? Bend the knee and close the knees. Keep trying to press that underneath leg down. We've got about 4 more here. Opening the knee, pressing the foot up. Again, you can give it a little roll around one way, roll around the other way. Bending the knee and closing. Okay, couple more, I think. Opening the knee, pressing the foot up, bending the knee and closing the legs as if you were squeezing something between the knees. Last one here. Opening the knee, pressing the foot up maybe a tiny bit more. Again, it doesn't have to straighten, it can be nice and bent. Sometimes that gives me even more of a stretch. And then closing the knees. If you need to take that little mini massage, I definitely do, around kind of the top of the buttock and around, and that just feels good, especially seeing as at the moment we can't go get a nice massage or a treatment. Okay, so then we move into our twist. So I just let the knees stay quite relaxed. I'm going to still use my cushion, it feels really nice. And then I'm going to just wriggle on towards the back. And just think more shoulder blades. So it's quite a big twist. You can have the knees quite relaxed if it's too much stay on the side. Otherwise, that little wriggle. And then for a moment, just stretch the arms out. Okay, the arms furthest away, so away from the twist. We're going to bring that up and over. Excuse me. Bring the fingertips along the body and then open up. You don't have to look away. Sometimes it feels nice, sometimes not. Bringing that arm up, over, drawing it along the chest and stretching it out. So it's a good one to get in towards the shoulders, across the chest. Again, rolling on towards that shoulder blade. If it's too much, then just come away from it. Otherwise, we've got a couple more. Stretching the fingertips along. Let's make this the last one. Fingertips over, drawing them along the chest and stretching it out. Just a couple of rounds of breath. Gives me quite a big stretch, excuse me, into that shoulder. You want to think more this upper part of the spine, just a little rotation, because you're going to feel it here anyway, okay? Very gentle. Good. Bring the arm up and over. Excuse me. Hands on towards the floor, and then slowly press yourself up. Head coming up last. Whew. And finding a cross-legged seat. If it's too much to have the legs crossed, excuse me, just stretch them out. And I'm going to sit up on the cushion as well. So I've got a nice, comfortable seat. And we're just going to work the side body. So I'm bringing fingertips towards the floor, taking one arm out, reaching it up. And actually, I'm going to take my hand a little further today and maybe press the palm and bend the elbow. You can see how you go and take a little stretch over. And I say a little stretch because especially if you're more mobile in the body or hormonally, it's changed your level of mobility. We don't want to stretch too much, okay? We want to think of this more of allowing the nervous system to relax and soften a little. So think of just gentle movement if you can. Okay, let's come back to center. A few breaths onto the other side. So you could come up onto fingertips. You could have the palm flat on the floor, elbow bent. Take the arm up, and if that pinches on the shoulder and it's too much to take the arm up, I sometimes just have the hand on the shoulder and draw the elbow up, or just have it in a very gentle reach. Take a couple more breaths there. This opening through the kind of muscles of the side of the body, a little stretch there. And then coming back to center. Well done. Give the shoulders a little roll around one way and a little roll around the other way. Okay, we've worked the legs a little bit, well actually quite a lot. We're going to work the spine now. So obviously during pregnancy, we don't really or won't go on towards the tummy, on towards the belly. So we're going to work a pose called cat-cow. Why it's called cow, I don't know, to be honest. Cat, because it is like arching like a cat, but the other way I still haven't figured it out. So if you know, let me know. All right, I'm going to come onto all fours. I'm going to keep my blanket here. It just feels really nice. It's quite cold today, quite cool. And then think of as you press down, very lightly pressing down, think of drawing the spine up. So we're just gently arching the body, drawing the chin in. And then as the heart looks forward, allow the head to lift and the tailbone to lift. So just think of the spine going one way and the other. So as you root down to the shins, hugging baby bump in towards you. And then unrolling from that shape and the chest forward. And as you move, maybe just taking again a moment to acknowledge the wonder of you. The wonder of your spine as it moves. The wonder of your body as it adapts to this ever-changing landscape of pregnancy. as it adapts to this ever-changing landscape of our external world as well. And just tapping into that knowledge. The wonder of you knows what it needs to know. I'm going to take 2 more here. Maybe having a little massage in there. Very gently hanging in the hammock of the body. Good. And then coming back to kneeling, placing the hands on towards the thighs, giving the shoulders a little roll up and back, and just taking a brief pause. So that movement between the forward flexion of the spine, extension of the spine, just allows this really gentle opening. It's a wonderful one to do every day. You can also do it by having the hands on the knees and curling in. So if you're working from home, you can also do this at the desk, curling and moving the spine. Okay, we're going to take it into a downward facing dog now. If this pose feels too much for the body, just come back on towards the hands and the knees. Okay. Now I'm going to stay on the blanket because I know that this one is quite firm. But again, if your blanket or towel is slippy, just move it out the way or stay on all fours. Okay. Hands to the floor, tuck the toes under. Of course, I forgot to say this, I do apologise. You may have to have your knees wider apart, obviously, with the pregnancy, but I'm sure you would have done that anyway. Okay, let's lift up into downward facing dog. So begin to lift the pelvis up. Go there nice and slow. I'm going to take my feet actually a little wider today. Softness in the knees and that gentle press of the body back. Give the head a little shake and a little nod. Every time you exhale, think of hugging the baby, hugging pregnancy in towards you. And then from here, bringing the knees down, and as long as it feels appropriate, taking the knees wide and pressing back into child's pose. So the knees are going to have to go as wide as they need to. Extend the arms. If it's too much to bring the body all the way to the floor, sometimes I make the hands like fists and one on top of the other and rest the head down. I'm going to take about 3 rounds of breath here. Just want to introduce this pose because, to be honest, sometimes this is all you need. Child's pose is sometimes all you need. Okay, we're going to move through a little sequence now. So I'm just going to come back into downward facing dog. Again, feet a little wider. Down towards the knees and back into child's pose. Let's repeat that a couple of times. Coming forward, hands and knees. Tucking the toes under. Downward facing dog. Down towards the knees and back into child's pose. So it's nothing fancy, but it's good for the spine. It's good for the system. And that's what pregnancy yoga for me is all about. Nurturing you, nurturing your nerves. Lift up into downward facing dog. And then just back towards the knees. Okay, let's take the right foot forward into a lunge. And extend the toes at the back, hands towards the hips. Okay, we're going to bend, we're going to press, just very gently in towards the front, so in towards the front of the hips, but we're not going too far, okay? Tucking the toes under, and then we're going to reverse back. So this is the more challenging bit. You can take that front foot wide if you need to, and then we're going to sit back on towards that heel. Okay, coming forward in towards that hip stretch, not too far, pressing back. If you can, toes stay tucked in towards the hamstrings. Couple more here. Coming forward and then pressing back. Good, you're doing a good job. This is our last one here. It's great. It's getting towards the legs again a little bit. It might feel a little easier because we've done that sequence on our sides. And then pressing back. Now we're going to hold this for a few rounds of breath. Now I've got my toes tucked, which makes it highly uncomfortable, but good to stretch the foot. You can have your toes untucked for sure. I'll do that with you for a moment and sit back on towards that heel. Now, if you need a little bit more space in the side body, you can keep the body upright more, okay? You might need to take the knee out to be able to fold forward. All right, let's do that to the other side. So come forward, take that knee back, and then let's work on the opposite side. So the left foot comes forward, and I'm going to tuck the toes. You don't have to, you can have them untucked. So about 4 rounds here. In towards the pelvis, a little stretch there. If you've got anything going on with the pelvis, any sensitivities, any issues, obviously don't do this. Do maybe like a seated forward fold or something instead, okay? Pressing back in towards the hamstrings. And then coming forward. So you can have that foot out to the left a little bit. Rather than going into frustration, if the body feels tight, if it feels different due to pregnancy, think of the wonder of you. The wonder of you. Creating a baby, creating movement, creating a yoga practice, creating your day in what potentially might be quite challenging circumstances. Let's take one more here. We're going to fold back over that leg. And again, I've got the toes tucked. For some people, that might feel great. For some people, you might want them untucked, okay? Taking a couple more breaths. Again, you can keep the body more upright, or you can bow more over that leg. Good. Let's come forward. Take that knee back, and prenatal yoga, we do a lot of standing poses as well. Today I've just kept it more towards the floor. It's been quite a big week for many of us with all the news and everything going on, changes in weather. I wanted it to be quite a grounded practice today. So I'm going to take my cushion back, have a little seat. I'm going to cross the legs, but you can have the legs stretched out. You can be sat up on a chair, on your sofa, whatever feels right. We're just going to close the practice. And if you've got your cardi or a little blanket, you can wrap that around you. I'm putting mine on because it's chilly in the house. So once I've closed the class, you maybe want to take a little lie down. Okay. Otherwise, we'll close class here. Bring your hands on towards your pregnancy, or if you prefer, on towards the heart. These sessions always go so fast. You can close the eyes if you wish, or just have them very gently glancing towards the floor. I'm going to take just a little bit of time, about a minute or less. Hands on towards this precious cargo. Tapping into the wonder of you and all that you do. You might wish to repeat that a few times to yourself. The precious cargo, the wonder of me and all that I do. My teacher often says, you are enough, you do enough, you have enough. If that resonates with you, you can always bring one hand up to the heart. You are enough, you have enough, you do enough. To close, hands maybe on towards the belly, to the heart, maybe even into prayer. Closing again with that acknowledgement of the wonder of you, all that you do. Taking a very gentle breath in and out. Namaste. Thank you for joining today. I hope you enjoyed your practice. I definitely enjoyed teaching you today. Please feel free to comment in the comment section there and let us know if you're enjoying the classes or if we can help in any other way during this time. I'll be back next week, and tomorrow I've got postnatal. If you know anyone who has just had a baby, 6 weeks or 12-week C-section. Otherwise, I really look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks so much for being here, and have a great Tuesday. Bye, everybody.